Hey, Pat, we were trying to show you dancing. My bad. Go ahead, buddy. Take it.
Oh, you just went to me.
Yeah, I
So
was trying to show you dancing. You know how we've been working on that?
no, we've been doing that afterwards.
I forgot. I'm an idiot.
And also, as you said to me at the beginning, you're not going to be able to hear the music. So if I can't hear the music, I'm not going to feel the dancing in my bones.
You know what? In honor of all the soldiers, this one's on me. Why don't you just shoot me in front of a firing squad?
No, because then you get a day.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Trying to
give
get
you.
a holiday, bitch.
What do you say on Memorial Day to people?
Are you, enjoy your Memorial Day. I don't say
Enjoy.
happy. Yeah, or like, I hope you have a good Memorial Day. Something along those lines. Not happy, though, because it's really not our holiday.
Right. But also, I had this thought, and I know it's going to sound sticky, but I think you're the perfect person to ask this. Okay. I thought about this the other day. Okay. And it's going to go Jesus route for a second, but I think you know where I'm already going with it.
Of suburbia?
No, Good Friday.
Yeah.
He died for our sin. I have a question to get back to on that for a second too.
Okay.
But he died for our sins. Soldiers died so we can keep sinning. You know what I mean? Like, so should we call it Good Memorial Day?
That's okay. I do see what you're saying.
Good Friday, Good Memorial Day, because it's a day where it's like it's good that these people did this thing so we can continue to live our lives the way we do.
You know, I've never thought about it that, but yeah, good Memorial Day works that way.
Better than happy.
Yeah, because it's not. It's kind of supposed to be a solemn day.
Right. Now, to the Good Friday question. I've never
Okay.
really thought of this, and I'm
Yeah.
probably an idiot. I'm not a Bible person. I was raised Irish Catholic, but it wasn't like you. I wasn't thrown in the books and all that kind of
I
stuff.
got you.
Okay.
Suwu.
Did he die for the sins that we already did, or so we can sin more later?
Okay, that's a great question. So,
Because if he just died for the ones before, dude, and he's never come back, what have we been doing all the time? Like, if he died and said, if I die, then you guys can just fucking make Pornhub.
so the I'll get to that answer in 1 second. The first thing we got to note is the day when Jesus died is called Good Friday.
Yeah.
The day when there are all these great sales and profit margins are at the lowest is called Black Friday.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to think a certain group controls the media narrative.
If
The ones who killed
retarded,
killed
if I was a
Jesus.
retarded person, I didn't understand why they call it Black Friday. I might be with you on that, but that if you really do understand what what Black Friday. I think I
Yes,
said
yes, because
Friday.
it's about making up the money so that you're in the black by
Right,
that
so-
Friday. Yeah, yeah, it was just a joke.
So Bobby, who would be the person that does that?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's still a
The Jews.
possibility.
They do the books and they do the Jesus. That's both their Fridays.
Let me just tell you, that bit went about as good as it's been going on stage. Anyway,
Well, I think you should add the part I just said.
I kind of like it. No,
I think you're better off going in that route. It's like because they think you're going that one route. You're like, no, it's not what you think. Both the Jews.
but
They're accountants and they're accounting on Jesus being dead in 3 days.
so prior to Jesus, people
Richard
had,
Pryor to Jesus. That's my 2 favorite stand-ups.
I'm on fire, eh? That's what Richard Pryor say. That's a great Pusha T line. But
It is. It's one of the only good pushers.
okay, well, we're gonna fist fight after this. I don't think he has a bad line, but
The only good Pusher T line is a mention of Pusher T and a Coast Contra fucking freestyle. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah. You had to sacrifice if you committed a sin. So if you like jerked off, you then had to kill a lamb in honor of God, kind of like the pagan things. So Jesus is dead.
That can't be the fucking task. Do you know how tired I am after I jerk off? I could go kill a whale.
I don't think it's the same day. You just gotta hope you don't die in your sleep that night. Fuck.
You're just done. You're just covered. They didn't have little towels back then, so you're probably using part of a sheep anyway. What do you clean it up with?
It would be a good. It would be a good.
Oh my god! What
sacrifice.
did they jerk off with? They didn't have lotion.
Probably raw, dog.
and to nothing. They didn't even know about stuff. They knew one lady.
And you weren't allowed to put it into anyway. But so you would have
Oh,
to
you
like,
can say you weren't allowed to. What were they jerking off to?
I mean, probably their
Were they?
imagination.
Were they? Did they develop enough into jerking off yet?
Yeah, that's you ever hear the story of David and Bathsheba?
No, I only know the Goliath one. I didn't know his whole. I knew he had a sequel.
Dude, David kind of became a piece of shit after Goliath. Like
Yeah, once you fight a giant guy, it's over. Your
he
stories are done.
he
You know, a
was
guy who's like he has one good bar story, then he tries to tell you a second one. It's like, nah, dude, you just have that one. Like Bert Kreischer,
oh yeah,
you
he
have
was
that one good story, and
he
then you
was
just keep trying to do other shit afterwards. Bert Kreischer is the David of David and Goliath.
I
That's
think
all it
I
is.
like to think of it more. He was like the rookie who won the NBA championship and then just got really fat and never did anything good again. But
Kind of like that, but also like maybe if we're gonna go back to like Mario Ellie. Like he had like a couple of good games with Houston in a playoffs, but then he always talks about how he's the greatest playoff guy. And Robert Horry's like, I'm standing right here.
well, yeah, that's a good point. But
Yeah.
honestly, the best example would be Jordan, who then went and played baseball. Like he was Jordan when he was killing giants, and then he went and was the king and kind of was playing. Anyway, he's
Still
sitting there,
playing
right?
fucking baseball.
He looks out his window and he sees this woman bathing, Bathsheba. So what do you think he did when he saw that?
Oh yeah, they didn't bathe inside.
Yeah, she was bathing outside, naked.
Yeah, I
and,
don't think that way. I don't
and
think
he-
of outside bathing.
you know. And then he goes, I'm in love with that woman. And they go, she's got a husband. And he
Stop.
goes,
No. Stop. You can't just tell this story with like as you know. No. So in the Bible, it's written that David was looking out the window at a lady bathing and jerking off. What?
okay. I don't think the words jerking off show up like verbatim, but I think it was something about spilling his seed.
Ugh. That's worse than jerking off.
I
If
mean,
someone told me they're spilling their seed in the other room, I would never. I'd burn the house. That was it.
but so he does that. He goes, yo, I want to make that woman my wife. And they go, sorry, dude, she's already married. And most people would be like, all right, I get it, right? It happens. Not David. He goes, hey, aren't we fighting a war? And they go, yeah. They go, put her husband on the front line for me. I go, he's like a general. Like, put him up front. And so he dies, and then David marries Bathsheba. And as a result, God kills his first son.
I got questions.
Answers.
Okay, who were they? If he's the general, who are these they that could just put him on the front line?
David was the king. Remember when he killed the giant?
No, I don't know anything about that stupid story. Every time it would come on in the morning, Davy versus Goliath, whatever it is, I'm like, fuck this
Gee,
noise. I'm going back
Davey.
to sleep or I'm having pancakes.
Gee, Davy, you shouldn't fuck that married
Yeah.
woman. Don't kill her husband because you're in love with a married woman you saw bathe once. Come on, Davy.
Davy, you can't call them stinking Jews. You got to call them people. Davy.
He was a Jew. So basically,
Davy?
yeah, David.
Oh, he's the star?
Mm-hmm. He was the
He's the star?
literally
He's the star?
the way Jesus is king of the Jews is because he's related to David. Yeah, David was
Like
like
they're brothers?
no, like great grandson, which is funny because it's all through Joseph. And I don't know if you know this, but it's pretty key to the story. Joseph's not his dad.
Right.
Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So David's this shepherd. He's got like 6 brothers. They all die fighting Goliath.
I
They're
thought
like,
David was a boy.
what?
You know, there was a boy fighting a giant.
Yeah.
man.
So hang on. So David's like 14. Jason.
That's how old he was when he fought the giant?
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
I thought he was like 7.
Then they play it up for TV. You know, it's based on a true story. It's not a full true story. JC says Jesus was rich as fuck. I think so. But
So
anyway,
every time in sports, when they're like, it's a David versus Goliath story, they're going, it's a story about a bunch of guys who want to jerk off out the window to these people's wives.
No. So he's the youngest. All of his brothers go fight Goliath, die. He's like, I'll fight him. They're like, David, that doesn't seem like a good move. You've always been the pussy of the group. And he's like, nah, I got this. So he goes to a knife fight. And you know what David brought? A rock.
Guns? Oh, rock.
Yeah, he brought a rock to a knife fight. And he hit this dude in the head. And apparently that's cool. And as a result, he then got to be the king of the Jews.
Yeah.
Because he's killed the baddest guy. Yeah. So now he's the king. That's the end of the David and Goliath story. Nobody
Well,
expected it to happen.
To be fair, though, You still have to know what to do with the rock because you only get one rock toss.
No, you get like 7.
You got to keep
Big
going to
guys
get
tend
the
to be
rock.
slow. You could have
You
7 in your
throw it and you got
pocket.
to retrieve the rock.
Yo,
That's a lot.
O'Donnell's in the chat.
How hard do they work to get? Think about it. How hard are you working as a David when you're like, when I jerk off, I got to kill a lamb. When I fight a guy, I got to throw a rock and chase it. The guy does not really think about like the fucking small little points. You know, he's
The
just
good
kind of like
news is
a big picture guy.
he's a big picture guy. Yeah, yeah. And the good news is he didn't have to kill a lamb because God just killed his firstborn son as a result of the whole Bathsheba thing. So it was like an all-in-one. You know when you go negotiate a bunch of parking tickets down into like one flat fee? That's what they did. I'll take your son. It takes care of the masturbation, the killing the dude, all that shit. So basically, after he's king, then David kind of rests on his laurels and starts fucking other people's wives. Has a son, repents, and gets real back into God, and that's where he wrote all the songs.
Who do you have the son with? The lady that he stole from the general?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the general's dead, so somebody's got to fuck
Yeah,
her.
but he forced the general to be dead.
Yeah,
and
but
Bathsheba was just like, I'm fine with that.
he's the king. It'd be like if Kobe wanted to have sex with you. You're not going to say no, right? In a hotel room in Denver.
Well, so David died in a helicopter because that's the revenge, right?
I forget how David died, but he went out like a G.
Jew.
We've done a lot of Old Testament history on the last 2 episodes of POS between Samson and this.
Yeah, but Samson, you wanted to do. This was me. Remember how this started? Us being memorable to Good Friday, to Memorial Day.
We're 15 minutes in, talking about David. But anyway, so
well, I didn't know he jerked off out the window. He was the first peeping Tom. Why is it called?
No, he definitely wasn't the first.
David?
But literally, the reason why Cain killed Abel is Abel brought better sacrifices to God and was bragging about it, and Cain was like, "You want to see a cool sacrifice?" But anyway, are you there?
I'm here. I am hearing you. Sorry, I was.
No, okay. I just want to make sure. So basically,
it's speeding up a little bit. It's weird.
Basically, you had to have a sacrifice. When Jesus died, he was the ultimate sacrifice. So we don't have to do that. Now you can go to confession and stuff, and God forgives you for your sins because Jesus paid the price. Also, when the Jews died, they didn't go to heaven in theory or hell. They just went to some reserved place, and when Jesus died, he went and got all the good ones and opened the gates to heaven again. Like he did the judgment in that moment. It was like, all right, the good ones, you're with me. The bad ones, you can hang here.
So, how? This is a dumb question. How long is the Bible?
So,
I didn't know any of that was in there. I'm not ever gonna read it, but like that movie, they couldn't make that movie with all the shit.
No, and so like the Jews have the Old Testament, right?
It's a weird book, that book, dude.
Oh yeah, the Old Testament's nutty, and then
they're all both nutty.
The New Testament's more just like historic, and then a bunch of letters Paul wrote, and he's very verbose. He's kind of a cunt. And then after Paul, there are some other letters, and then there's Revelation, which is basically John took a bunch of ayahuasca and wrote like a trippy thing talking about the Roman Revolution, and people think it predicts the end of times. What's cooler is there are a bunch of books they don't let in. Like everybody universally agreed. Like Mary Magdalene wrote a book, and they were just kind of like, a woman's perspective? Nah, we don't need that. And hers was all about self-love.
It wasn't about being a whore?
I said it was all about self-love.
Oh, does that mean spilling the seed? Jesus Christ. I didn't mean Jesus Christ, but you know what I mean? Like,
don't say that.
Well, no, what the fuck? Why is it always about being a whore? Is it all about sex?
Hers is basically, so after Jesus dies, right, there's 2 groups. One really wants to get in with the Jews and follow the old traditions and have like a rigorous hierarchy.
Rigorous.
Excuse me. The other group wants just to be like, no, we self-govern. We know what to do. Like pass down the tradition orally and it'll be good. And so the mainstream kind of won out, which was following the old traditional system. But all these other people would find books that somehow conveniently went into support their argument. Like somebody found the Gospel of Judas, which was all basically like, yeah, no, God told me what was up. I knew all along. You should listen to these guys.
Can we do a POS story on David jerking off out the window?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sorry, that's gonna stay with me forever. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had windows. There's a lot I didn't know. David just lived next door. This is out of his castle,
Yeah, out of his kingdom.
so he was already the king.
Yeah.
And so, like, next door to the castle was like this general's hut or whatever.
It was like the common bathing area for all the rich people.
The commoners had the. I mean, not commoners because they're the best of the best, I guess. They're not the commoners, but like they shared. I thought they had their own thing.
So the way old city. Wow, this is this is not a POS episode. This is a real history lesson.
It's gonna. It
But the
definitely
way-
is because I'm using my sense of humor in it.
The way the Old Testament or like the way Jewish cities were set up, you would have like the center, which is where all the nobility lived. Then you would have the peasants and farmers on the outside that were protected by that same nobility. It's the same feudal system you saw in medieval Egypt.
Okay, so we've told the story.
Yeah. So who would you say is the piece of shit? Is it Bathsheba for bathing out there and like obviously she was doing it very seductively. You don't just watch a woman bathing, she's not trying to get the crabs off her pubes and you're like, "Oh god, I got
Oh
to
my
have
god,
her."
dude! What did you?
She was
She had
probably putting
crabs?
on a show. No, I mean, I would imagine everybody did that.
And pubes?
Oh, definitely they had pubes
Oh, they went nuts back.
and they were
then, yeah.
curly. She probably shaved it like the Orthodox, so it was just down the curly cues down the side.
Curly. Don't call those curly cues. Curly cues supposed to be like cute side thing on a kid's head, not some terrible woman's vagina.
So, is it her? Because she put on a show. She was probably trying to fuck the king. Is it David?
First of all, I don't think she was trying to fuck the king. I think she was a woman that was trapped in a world that was not a good time for a woman. But the fact that a king's just like, your thoughts don't matter. Like, you would think the king would just be like, hey, babe, what's going on? Your general's always running off. You can talk to me, be there for her emotionally. But no, he's just like, kill that guy. Then you just be my thing to fuck. Over in the
Maybe.
corner,
She
jerking off
did
to you.
then fuck him after she knew he fucked her. He killed her husband.
I don't. It doesn't sound like she had many choices in life. She was cleaning her crabs in a tub outside.
JC once noted they
If you
wear
knew
thongs
anybody
back
right
then.
now that was cleaning their crabs outside, you wouldn't think they were a good time or had choices.
Well, I mean, David thought she was a great time. Is it David for fucking her and killing her husband? Or is it for him for being a peeping Tom and jerking off? Who knows? Is it her husband? Because like, if you would have just been a better soldier, you could have survived. You know how hard it would be for the king to fuck your wife after he tried to kill you?
Pretty easy
Also, I'm pretty sure it took 3 attempts
to fuck his wife.
to move him up.
Oh,
Like, he survived the first 2. So, Pat, we'll kick it to you first, and then we'll kick it to Mike. Did you send the invite to him? Or you want me to?
I sent it to him. Oh, I don't know if I sent it. Okay, well, I guess I have to backtrack for a second and go, who's peeping Tom?
Who is Tom?
Yeah.
It's actually Doubting Thomas. Same guy.
No,
Yeah.
it is not.
You know what he
He
was
was a
doing?
doubter and a peeper.
Do you know why he wasn't there to see Jesus when he came back and everybody else was? You know what he was
He
up
wasn't
to?
peeping.
Yeah, he was up jerking off to Mary Magdalene.
Dude, you have a different Bible.
I have the real Bible. I have the fun Bible.
Everybody's spilling seed.
Yeah, spilling seed.
Spilling the seed.
So who is it, Pat? Who's the piece of
First of all,
shit?
I like that spilling the seed is now what spilling the tea is like. This thing, spilling the seed. I'm just writing that down because that will definitely be the name of this episode.
Spilling seed?
Yes. But because even if people know what it means, it's still like it is like a nice old timey way of saying it. I think if I ever talk about jerking off on stage or like other people, I'm going to say that. Were you spilling the seed? I think that'll get a laugh in a very like what is he autistic Mark Norman, which is the same thing. But anyway, yeah, spill the seed. Okay, so I asked you that reason because I was like, I thought he was it sounds like David's the original jerk off guy, but like, okay. The general's not the piece of shit he was being the general. He's off to war. If anything, it sounds like in this terrible time, the general, I'm shocked he even went to war because it sounds like they just sent off other people. And I know what you're saying he wasn't in the front line, but like you think he would just be terrible as well. If the other people were like, if the king is saying put the general in the front, the general would be like, Nah, dude. See you lowly shithead. He's like, yes, yes, I am, whatever. He goes, wear my general outfit. I want you to be protected in this today. I'll wear your thing. And then send him up front. And then he's like, ha, got you, bitch. A very cool gladiator type style move. So like do the old switcheroo Jones. So he would go that way. And so it's not the general. It's definitely not what's her name? Yelba Boobs. What was her terrible name?
Bathsheba.
That's a terrible name. Just be Sheba. Bathsheba.
Bath Sheba.
Bathsheba.
So now you're picturing Sheba Mason taking a bath.
Never. I've never pictured that. I never will picture that. Sheba.
You know who my dad was, David?
I just think of Egyptian with the name Sheba. But Bathsheba sounds like somebody who shops at the dollar store. Wears
I'm saying
pajamas
her name
sometimes.
was Bath Sheba because she clearly seduced people in the bath a lot.
Are you making that up? Because this Bible is getting wackier by the minute. Like, I would believe you at this point if you said she's Bathsheba, the Sheba of all baths.
No, that's me inferring.
But she's not Bathsheba, she's Bathsheba.
Yeah.
Bathsheba sounds like the name that Martin was going to use for Shanae. What was the character he did? Was it Shanae?
It was Shanae.
And at first he was like, I'm going to be Bathsheba. No, you can't be Bathsheba. It's like, I'll be Shanae. Bathsheba. I bet you look on the Urban Dictionary, a Bathsheba, it's a sex move that we both don't know about yet. Gave her the old Bathsheba. Where you jerk off over in the bathtub, you pretend you're the shower head. That's what it is. That's what the Bathsheba is. You pretend to be the shower head as she's bathing, and she's laying down thinking it's a shower, but it's really just David spilling the seed. Anyway, so it's not her because she's just outside taking a bath, washing off crabs, playing with her pubes, just doing what ladies do. You know what I mean? She can't help it if she's, first of all, to be that hot where a general and a king want to fuck you when you're bathing outside. Kudos to her. You know what I mean? I know they were horny and they didn't have a lot of distractions. So, and they didn't have ED back then. Everybody's had raging bones and running around. So I get it, but at the same time, there were still people they turned away, like the ones without teeth that are like, "Can I have some tea?" And they're like, "Fuck off, you're gross." And they kick them. Like they would always kick the peasants. Boot right to their face. Get the fuck out of here. I'm starving. Like whatever, I'm horny. Kick. And then that's it. So it's not her. She was obviously a badass. You know what I mean? All the top ranked dudes want to fuck her. That's pretty cool. She got, like you said, she got the best bath. And also, I wonder if the dudes that were filling her bath, right? Because it's not running water. So there's dudes that are filling the bath or like wenches or some shit, and they're getting the water and pouring it in. They probably either rubbed one out or spilled the seed to her too. I bet you everybody she was probably like an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Everybody was just, if they do my service, I can just beat off. Because it's not like there was other noises like cars going by or shit like that. So she definitely heard David in the window. She definitely knew what was going on.
Yeah, she was put on a show.
And I bet you like all the people that worked in the castle, like they'd have to go by, and it's not like they had like a lot of doors. So they would just see him with his pants down, with his crown on. I imagine crown on, cape, no shirt, no pants, just beating off, and his also and a monocle. I don't know why, but he's got a monocle and he's jerking off. I don't know they didn't invent him yet, but he's got one because he found a deal, and so he's jerking off and he's doing his thing, making the noises. So it's not her. It's not him either, because the heart wants what the heart wants. He wanted Beelzebub, whatever he was, Bashib's, and then some Bashib's didn't want him, so he's like, he just did some shady shit and just like, fucked over his friend, and I don't know if they're friends, but in my mind they're friends. And then like, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I'll do it for you. You're my king. I'll go there, please." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll watch over your girl, if you know what I mean." He's like, "I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Shake my hand." He's like, "Nah, dude, we all know you spill your seed with that hand. Like, get the fuck out of here." So like, so he goes. I think I also want to believe that everyone knows that he just jerks off all the time, because ever since he threw the rock, I think that's what happened. On the rock was some jizz, and when he threw it, it hit Goliath in the eye. He's like, jizz, and he's like, "I'm dead. I don't want to get hit. I'm not gay. I'm just a giant. This is gross." So it's not him. It's Goliath. for not fucking being a good giant and killing this creep when he had the chance. He should have beat the shit out of him with a knife and everything. You got a rock. You're Goliath. Everyone's named everything after you. Even when you, it's like the Titanic. It's the name of giant shit. You know what I mean? They both failed. I don't know why we keep naming things after giant things that fail, but we do that. Titanic, Goliath, Lizzo. We got to stop naming that stuff. Ew. So the piece of shit in this story is Goliath.
Okay. Do you know the Leonard Cohen song? Hallelujah.
I don't call that the Leonard Cohen song, but sure.
That's what.
I call it the Jeff Buckley song.
Okay, well, Jeff Buckley's cover of Leonard Cohen's song. You know the second verse?
It is, but it's still way better.
Yeah, I agree.
I heard there was a sacred chord. That's terrible, that version.
Yeah, no, I agree. I much
Cohen
prefer
stinks.
the Jeff Buckley version. But
Once again, Jewish
what's
guy.
the second verse?
We have a lot of Jewish stars on this show today.
What was the second line? You did the first one. I
David
heard.
played and he pleased the Lord.
Yeah, you know what David that is?
Oh, God damn it. Why is everything about David jerking off?
But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, fifth, the minor fall,
Because
the major
David
list.
played.
The baffled king composing Alleluia. Then the next quote. Do you know the next verse? Probably not, right?
I do, but I'm not going to sit here and quote each line. You just do it.
It's literally the next two lines is the story we were just talking about. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty
know
in
that
the
was the
moonlight
Bible.
overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke your throne. She cut your hair. That's all.
I thought
the
he was
story.
just kinky in that song.
No, it's literally the story.
I
we were
really
just
did.
talking
I
about.
thought
Yeah.
it was a weird song that said hallelujah and he was kinky.
No, nope. Those are all pretty big
Tied her to the
stories.
chair. Pulled her hand.
Those the first one there is about David and Bathsheba. The second one's a story we told last week. Samson got tied to the chair. She cut his hair, and then he got killed, and then he got his strength back and killed them all. Which is honestly how I want to go out.
Bathsheba.
My enemy's
What
mocking
fuck?
me, and then just
What was the general's name?
I don't remember, dude.
You remember Bathsheba?
Yeah, Bathsheba.
That's not the name.
You know my dad.
Tub Willie.
Tub Mason.
Hot Tub Willie's my dad. He has the best deals in town. You're my daughter. You're like those lawyers that are on the side of a bus and always say me and sons and their kids are they're on the side of the bus trying to be your lawyer. That's how I feel like it was. Hot Tub Willie and Bathsheba. Just like, you can have a relaxing day after jerking off and killing sheep for the Lord. Come in our hot tubs. Not literal.
Hey, David, if you eat this pussy, you can do 10 minutes at Three Monkeys. I know I'll pretend like I've never met you every time we see each other after this, but you do me this favor and you can do time at Three Monkeys.
It's like, oh man, I'm exhausted. Remember that time I beat that giant? Yes, we always remember you beat the giant. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I beat that giant. Now I'm the king. And now I'm going to go jerk off to this lady. It's like, then what else should I do? Oh no, maybe you should go down to Hot Tub Willie's and get a tub. I hear it's fun. Hot Tub Willie's and foot massage. Get down there. It's a good place.
Oh, Dad, I got a big whale on the hook this time.
What do you think Bathsheba's voice was?
Probably that. I think she probably smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Did they have cigarettes back then?
Yeah.
What?
What bush do
where
you think
the
they were
papers from?
burning? What?
The paper. What? Did they have paper?
No, they probably smoked it differently.
But what did they write the book? Who was writing all this down? I know it's not real, but if it was real, like they say it's supposed to be, somebody was writing it all down.
Oh, well, here's the fun part. You know who wrote most of the stuff about David?
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. He's jerking off the window and he's writing about it.
Can you imagine what he didn't write about?
Yeah. It was probably just the good stuff.
Yeah, he was just a nice guy.
I'm the star of David. And they're like, and then one guy goes, to be fair, there weren't many people or stars, so everyone had a star. But David did not write all the rest. There was also the star of Moisha, and there was like the meteor of Phil, you know, and so we had names for everything.
Is that who's? I think it's a Dombrowski joke.
Well, I wouldn't know it then.
I'm trying to think. Who does that? Is it him? Somebody I work with. No.
I don't have any Star of David.
It's
bits.
a Lennon Free joke where he's like, I love that we can name stars after people. What's that one? That's Polaris, named after this great ancient god. What's that one? Some bitch named Linda. Her husband forgot about her birthday till the last second. Caused a real fight in the relationship. So
Yeah. Well, it's not as good as her 1 foot square inch of land in Scotland.
that's Dame Linda. Dame bitch Linda to
Go,
you.
you can go retire and live there now. It's a good time. Uh so who's the piece of shit in the story?
In my opinion, there are a lot of pieces of shit. It's probably Bathsheba
You
though.
know what was in that tub? A lot of pieces of shit. They were
Yeah,
probably shitting in the tub.
absolutely. For me,
Where did they
it's
shit?
they had running sewage.
How?
They could afford it.
Running sewage.
Yeah,
They
the
barely had
Romans.
water.
They stole the idea from the Romans when
They
they were
used
in
the
Egypt.
river.
When they were in Egypt, they stole the idea from the Romans.
That's not really stealing. That's a listen. If you go over someone's house and you see their TVs hung on the wall a certain way, you're like, you know what? I should do that. It's not stealing it.
No, no, I know, but they just didn't come up. Anyway, for me, it's Bathsheba because I feel like she was definitely being a whore, like out there putting on a show for anybody. Like, oh, my husband's
You're
at
always mad at
war. I'm
women.
so lonely. No, no, no. Seriously, I do feel like it was that, and then you got to blame David as well, because you got to keep your dick in your pants. That's somebody else's wife. That's rule number
They need
one.
to wear pants then. They can just walk around with their cocks out.
There are some women I'm just rude to because they're my friends' girlfriends, and I want it to be clear there's no potential You know what I mean? Like, you gotta realize that's your boy. He's out there fighting for your glory. You can't fuck his wife.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Fire
You
away.
were in your place right now, but there's no. We have to take. Okay, I can't say right now because we have to take away the ability of cameras, phones, and all that, just the way back then. So there's no way of anyone knowing that you're doing it besides you and the Lord. That's it. Two of you. That's all you know. Outside your window is Lindsay Lohan, and she's taking a bath. Both, like Bathsheba, whores that sleep with people from a different land. So, so you can give me all you want. That was pretty accurate. Anyway, so in that tub, she's doing the same thing Bathsheba was, cleaning the crabs out of her pubes
Fair enough.
and thinking about when she was in Parent Trap and going, "That was it. That was the peak." Fuck. Well, maybe Herbie, but that's about it. Anyway, you have the ability.
Herbie left me fully loaded.
Yeah, they aren't crabs; they're love bugs.
Yeah. Get bit by the love bug.
I have herpes. No, it's Herbie. That was Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan, herpes love bug. It's like she's like, I'm in. That makes sense. Like it's Herbie. Like
Either way, I already
I
committed.
said yes. When do I say no? I'm Lindsay Lohan. Anyway, so she's in the tub. She's doing her thing. Do you jerk off?
Is she putting on a show for me?
What do you mean by show? Are you, because I have to be clear here and be honest, because I know you kind of think in one way with it. Sometimes you think people are doing stuff for others when they're really doing it for themselves. You have had that tendency sometimes in life to kind of project because your mind kind of goes that way. So if by putting on a show you mean literally bathing, so having to rub her breasts and her ass and her legs and things that may look sexy to someone looking at a pretty woman, but in reality is just that human being bathing, then yes. But no, she's not laying there, legs akimbo, going, oh, she's taking a fucking bath.
I go. Excuse me, ma'am, madam.
No, you're out the window. You're too far for a conversation.
Oh, then no, I wouldn't.
You'd have to be like, yo. And she'd have to turn and go, what the fuck? You're like, hey, it's me, Ding Bobby.
I'm the king, right?
All right, you can have the conversation, but remember, you're shouting like an Italian woman out the window to her kids when it's Prince Spaghetti night. So you have to yell everything.
Oy vey, madam.
You gotta yell it.
Oy vey, madam. Your mozzarella bits are out for the world to see.
I'll do it back. Hello.
The whole world can see you naked, ma'am.
It's the way God intended.
Okay. And then I go send my servants to go bring her to the indoor bath.
Why couldn't you in the next sentence go, I have an indoor bath. Would you like to come in here, me lady? And she go, oh, how thoughtful of you, King Bobby. I would love that. Squirrels are looking at my feet. It's like,
Because then the fat bitches are gonna want to take indoor baths as well, and it's not for
Bobby,
everybody.
Bobby, I know we're talking about kind of now, but it's also back in the day when fat bitches didn't exist really, because fat people were the kings. So fat bitches were probably your sisters. You know what I mean? Like if there was fat people, they were your family, and they were
So
already in there anyway.
so I'm
And
gonna
you can say maybe you can say the gross jackals, but the gross jackals were afraid to speak because you'd have them beheaded. If anything, they would just be jealous that you spoke to Lady Lohan.
so I would actually send the servants and be like, "Hey, Lady Lohan, there's an indoor bath, but if you use it, the king wants you to have dinner with him." She would say yes because she's a whore. We would talk during dinner and
Wait,
find
why
out
would she
about her
be a
husband.
whore? Wait, stop. Why does that make her a whore? You invited her to dinner and a bath. You didn't invite her to fuck. You didn't say you got to fuck. You're like,
See,
hey,
this is
you would love to
why.
use the bath, but you got to have dinner. Dinner does not mean they have to put out, Bobby. You can just have dinner with a woman.
Right, but this is why women and men see relationships differently.
No, this is why you and women see them different.
Yeah, because a
I'm a
woman goes,
man. I
"There's
don't
no
see it that
issue
way.
with that. There's no issue. Some guy invited me to use his private bath and then eat dinner with him while you were away fighting. That's not me cheating." And you go, "It's not, but it's close. It's an accidental slip away from it, right? Like if you're in recovery from drinking, you're not supposed to go to the bar and buy other people shots because it's about as close as you can get
Well,
without
then how do I
drinking."
make the audience happy after everything I said?
Right, better jokes.
Because I know a lot of comics that do that. Oof, I've watched a lot of comics go up and do 15 of the worst minutes ever, and then they're like, "Shots on me." Like, wait, you
Everything's
don't drink?
okay.
They're like, I know, but they need to forget about what the fuck I just did.
That's fair, but you get the point I'm making. So I would invite her in. We'd talk.
Wait, I
It would
can't
be.
believe you just flipped it into that. You're a mastermind, my friend.
What do you
The
mean?
fact that you're like, it's not really cheating, but it's also, dude, how did you go there?
I feel like a lot of times women
You
go,
always make the woman the villain.
"Pat, welcome to reality, dude. Take the red pill, my guy."
I think there's just humans that are villains and humans that are heroes, and then most of it's just the in between that kind of dance in both. But I don't think it's male or female. That's a blanket I don't believe.
Right, and typically, it's certainly, and now I don't want to speak on, sound like a turf, but if you have two X chromosomes, you fall on one side of the scale. If you have a Y chromosome, you're on the other.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, no. So you
Sometimes you
invite her
go,
in.
"Hey, I
Okay, so
feel."
she comes
Sometimes,
in.
sometimes I feel like maybe her general husband sent like a letter back and was like, "Hey, I feel like there's a lack of communication right now," and she just sent him gifts as a response to everything for the next 4 days. And then the one time she broke that gift silence was to use a Chat GPT letter she wrote breaking up with him. And then her husband's like, "Hey, all right, what's up?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. Just was taking a bath, and then King David invited me to use his private bath if I ate dinner with him. But don't worry, nothing happened." And he's just sitting there with a spear to his head every morning.
See, now I know that you're kind of bringing that into a different world, which is one that is yours. But if we really reflect on this, do you know how this all could have been solved, Bobby? If you just jerked off to her out the window and didn't talk to her. Everything you wanted would have come out of that. You don't need, like, I've literally said this on stage before. And a lady's like, I'll make a joke, and she goes, "I'm married," and I go, "Oh, that doesn't matter in here." Like, oh, later, you're just some lady I'm jerking off to, and you don't matter anymore. They're
Yeah,
like, hooray!
but you know what I mean by putting on a show. Sometimes,
I don't. Just taking a bath is not. I think men find women bathing sexy because women's bodies are sexy, but they're not putting on a show. They're literally bathing.
you've never had that like friend zone, gray zone, friend zone relationship, have you? I feel like you
Oh
kind
no,
of
no, no! I
you're
date or we're
you're
friends.
you're out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where a lot of these come up. Like, I'm in love with you, but the timing's not right, and I've got a
Oh, then they don't
guy.
work.
No,
No, that timing shit's not real.
I don't know.
It's a very nice thing to say by people that don't want to let someone down, and then when they're just broken, they just go to a thing that won't leave. But that relationship would never work.
Yeah, no, there's definitely that too, where it's like just keeping the guy there so you have a backup plan when you're feeling lonely. That's not what I'm talking about, though.
And he gets me. He gets me. But he only gets you because he wanted to get you. And then later on, you're like, oh, you just always wanted to fuck me? It's like, yeah. Because that guy always says the thing he thinks is good because it's in romantic comedies. It's like, I've loved you forever. And the girl's like, in the movie, she's like, I know, I should have seen that. That's great. But in real life, you're like, what the fuck? Like, you were supposed to be my friend. You loved me then, and you just said you didn't want me. And you watched me go through all that shit, just hoping when I was broken you could fuck me. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, no, this is like you've dated, you haven't. Anyway, that's where a lot of this comes up. I feel like. So yeah, woman's the piece of shit. Women are usually the piece of shit.
Well, yeah, the woman.
Yeah, you know who's gonna agree with this? Joanne.
Joanne.
She hates women.
Oh, from Morning.
Morning, yeah. She's an avid
We were
watcher of
talking about her
POS.
before we were on the air, so no
Oh
one knows.
no. She's just an avid viewer of POS, so we usually talk about it the day after you post. She gives me a rundown. So
Sure, that's not true. Um, I'm an avid viewer of Morning's Instagram thing where she goes, "Here's a statue. Here's a calendar. Where the fuck is the bill? Bill is smoking, and that's it. I see that video every day.
I love it. It's one of my favorite running things they do.
Yes. I think running things means she's wondering where
Her
the person
co-host
that she's
is.
supposed to
Yeah.
be working with is, and then he thinks it's fun. Does he even know it's a bit?
So, took him way too long to figure it out. That's for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we did a good Memorial Day thing here, and we also brought the Lord into it, and it was fun. It was a different episode. I'm sure some people are like, "What the fuck is this?" I don't know. Sometimes you just have one of these days, because Bobby and I will be having some fun on Wednesday. You
Yeah.
can catch Bobby and I at 4 o'clock on Compound Media. Even though the boss is away, other people will be filling in, and on Wednesday, Bobby and I will be filling in for the Anthony Cumia show. Check it out. We're gonna have a couple of guests. We're gonna have some fun. Probably not be a lot of Star of David talk or Bathsheba.
No, that was an interesting historic lesson.
But it was fun, and it led into a nice thing. So if you enjoy us, check it out. If you're not a subscriber to Compound Media, get on over there, subscribe to it, because this is not going to be on our Patreon or up on our things. This is just going to be here on Compound Media. So it'll be fun. Check us out. Bobby and I get to be in a studio together. Be a good time. We're going to have some fun people on the show. Not all the guests are lined up exactly yet, but we're waiting to see. But it'll be fun. I'm not sure how long the show's going to be, but if you're watching and enjoying and like commenting good things, maybe it'll go longer. So go check it out this Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Compound Media. Bobby, anything else?
This Friday, I'll be at Soho Playhouse. Our buddy Joseph Ferraro is giving me some time. It's going to be a short spot, but if you want to see a lot of young up-and-comers, it'll be a fun show. I think tickets are cheap, like $10. So Soho Playhouse Friday. Saturday, I'm at the Factory in Liverpool with Earl David Reed.
England?
No, Pennsylvania. Oh. With Earl David Reed and Lennon Free. But this is a big one, boys, because I think it was Earl, but somebody took the normal poster he has and added a tagline. I don't know if you've seen this, Pat. Did you see what the tagline says? With openers, Bobby Tamburo and Lennon Free.
Does he never put you on the poster?
No, it's a huge
is a big deal.
Yeah. It's a really big thing. So I'm pretty proud of it. And
is it like when you're talking to a girl and she doesn't have a relationship status, and then she doesn't put your name, but she puts in a relationship, and you're like, I know who that is. That's me. You hope.
I wouldn't know that feeling. On that note,
I've watched people do that. It's a good sign.
If you can't love them, something, and don't be a piece of shit.